It's not cool on what term? Like in the terms of America or whatever?
Joining a gang, speaking like an idiot, not understanding the English language, cutting words off, saying like ax instead of ask, right? Listening to hip hop music, being a whore, shaking ass, twerking. These are all black culture things that are a problem.
All races can do all of those things.
What was that?
All races can do all of those things.
Yeah, but it's black culture that promotes it the most.
How is that true?
Myron Gaines totally crushes this woke feminist with the truth in this college debate over black fatigue, as Myron Gaines exposes the reality that black culture promotes degeneracy so much so that even black politicians are willing to change their act just to win their vote. Let's get in.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm a woman here arguing feminism, but that's just because that's what I'm passionate about. And I just think that, do you think like equality is the way to improve America?
Equality is a way to build America? No.
Why not?
Because when you go ahead and you prioritize equality, you put people in positions that they don't necessarily deserve because you want to be equal.
But before you just said that like it's good to share ideas with everybody and that's how we improve America.
Yeah, but the ability to share your ideas is contingent upon your competency. So in other words, not everyone's ideology or everyone's opinion matters. And I think that's actually a big issue where we sit here and we take opinions of people that quite frankly aren't qualified or competent enough to give their ideas.
Well, I think everybody is entitled to their opinion.
Even retards?
You shouldn't use that word unless they're medically deficient in yeah, it's an offensive word, and I guess you'll laugh at me, but that's okay.
Well, this is exactly why women should be in positions of power, because she's already offended off of a word.
I'm not offended.
You're like, we should use that word.
It's just not a good word.
It's words.
No, it is a word, yes, but words have meaning. They have a lot of
words
meaning.
Are words. What is it? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. I think that's very powerful. We need to get back to using that.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, like, if you get offended off words, then holy shit, like we can't even have a real conversation if words are what is. But it's fine. We can entertain it here. But yeah, I mean, look, everyone can be entitled to their opinion, but that does not necessarily mean that you deserve for your opinion to be heard.
Okay, sure, whatever. I just think that you coming up here is why men are the way they are. You're spreading hateful words, which I think is crazy. USC even allowed you to come up here and spread.
It's America, First Amendment.
Yeah, but then you just said other people don't have right to opinions.
Yeah. No, again, everyone has freedom of speech, but not all speech matters.
That's not true. All speech matters.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Your speech mattering is contingent upon your competency and your ideas, and you actually not being a retard, and you being intelligent, being able to convey your ideas in a certain way. Like, there's a reason why people listen to certain people, because they're like, okay, this guy has good tonality, he's able to speak, he's able to convey himself. No one wants to listen to a bumbling idiot stutter all day like Peter Thiel.
Okay, yeah, that's true. I do agree with that. People have to know how to form their words to get to people who they want to reach.
Absolutely.
And I do agree with that. But I think the fact that what you're spreading, you're the reason why men are the way they are today and why it's so hateful still towards women. That's why feminism exists, because we're tired of being raped, we're tired of being hit, we're tired of being at the lower bottom of the food chain. And if for you for some reason that's like a problem, because obviously you would think we shouldn't have the same rights. You think we shouldn't be equal.
Yeah, I think women need to go back to being second-class citizens, if we're going to be honest. I don't think you guys should have the right to vote either, because you guys tend to put idiots in office.
Idiots in office?
You guys do realize that if we had to rely on the female vote, Kamala Harris would be president of the United States right now. Do you guys understand that? Like, we'd be fucking cooked. And that's what happens when you let women get into positions of power.
Well, when men are positioned of power, they cause wars.
Actually, they've done a study on this, and it's women are more likely to cause wars when in a position of power.
But how many wars have been started by men?
Well, men obviously have been the leaders of the majority of the time,
okay.
But when women are in positions of power, they're more likely to start wars. Actually,
that doesn't even make sense. You're not even on the basis to prove that, because you guys haven't allowed women to be in positions of power.
I'm saying when they have been in positions of power, they're more likely to create wars.
That
and you know what the other part is too? That's funny. Women actually prefer to be under male authority. Like when they polled women, would you rather work for a man or a woman? Most women actually prefer to work for men versus working for women, because the problem with women is that when you guys have your little circles and everything else like that, like you guys have like this weird like beef and stuff like that where you guys don't really convey your ideologies to each other. It's like, oh, I don't like her because she's pretty, so like you guys lie to each other all the time. For example, girls will go out, like let's say you guys are gonna go to the club, right? And like there's one fat girl in the group and she's wearing a dress and she looks like shit. You guys will sit there and be like, oh, like put on this dress because it'll look better. When in reality, you just don't want to tell that she looks fat and you guys are going to get in. Like with men, it's not the same. We're around each other. Hey, dude, you look like a fag. Change. We got to fucking get in here, whatever. Like men are honest with each other. Women aren't, right? And that's a problem. And that bleeds into many other different things.
Yeah, I do agree that women being fake towards each other is a problem because the only way we'll advance or be better or get tired of all this bigotry and hatred is the fact
Bigotry is good.
Work together.
Bigotry is good.
Why?
Because it identifies problems a lot of the time so you can recognize pattern and then, put yourself in a position where it's like, damn, I'm walking down the street right now. It's 4 black guys. I'm going to cross. You know what I mean? Or, I'm around an Indian guy. He probably is dodging deodorant this week. Let me go this way. Right? Or, it's just like, let me hide my pennies. I'm around a Jew. Like, it's good to be able to be a bigot and identify patterns. Like, it's good. Like, I'm obviously being funny here a little bit, but the reality is, like, pattern recognition is good. I'll give you an example. Like, as you were coming up to the mic, you were very polite and everything else like that. Nice, voice, whatever. So you're, like, beating stereotypes. But normally girls that look like you are like, well, what you talking about?
Oh, no. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. We are not being racist on this. No.
Racism is the reality.
Yes, it is a reality.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make it okay.
I would argue that it's actually
and it's crazy
racism
that
is good.
you're arguing against bigotry and stuff when you yourself are I don't know what your race is or anything, but you obviously have darker skin.
Yeah.
So obviously, even when you're walking down the street, people are going to judge you. You are
Sure.
not the top of the food chain that you think. Above you are white men. And even now, when you're preaching to them, they'll be like, oh yeah, I get it, but they still don't like you because of what you look like.
So here's the thing that I really like that you said that. So here's the thing, right? What I've realized with men is men typically operate on competency and meritocracy. So in other words, if a guy's competent and he's doing what he's supposed to do and he's successful, other men respect that regardless of skin color. Because men, we are hierarchical, women are not. You guys are based on like, oh, who's the prettiest and who's cool. Like, you guys are not like us when it comes to status, right? Or understanding meritocracy. Like, men are value-based. For example, with a group of men, it's like, okay, this guy's the most competent. He's going to be a leader. We have fucking identified roles immediately. There was a show called Bear Grylls, right? Like Survivor, where they had men on an island and women on an island. The men quickly assimilated into groups, figured out who was the most competent at what, had fire built, shelter built, clean water, etc. The women, on the other hand, almost fucking died because they didn't want to go ahead and kill a pig. They were bitching about other things. I don't want to do this, blah, blah. So in other words, it was pandemonium. They couldn't figure shit out. So the point is, regardless of skin color, a lot of the times, when it comes to men, we understand and respect talent. This is why some of the most racist guys will still acknowledge and be like, yeah, Michael Jordan was cool. Because men respect competency regardless of skin color. Women don't, though, a lot of times. You guys are based on some other weird shit. So despite the fact that you're saying like, oh yeah, these people are racist or whatever, the racism is fine. I don't give a shit about that because it's always going to exist. I look at it like this. Prove them wrong. Prove them wrong. Don't be the stereotype. You're doing a good job of it right now. You're not being the Shaniqua that normally black women are. So that's great.
Okay, sure, whatever. And I think that's just not okay to say. Obviously, people are raised...
Everyone here was thinking it when you walked up to the mic. They thought you were going to be like on some Shaniqua shit. Why do you think they were going, oh...
Okay, actually, it's also depends on where you were raised. Hood or people who live in like the project or things like that, they are systematically kept to stay there. That's why people are selling drugs. That's why that's what they have to do to live because the government doesn't give them an opportunity to advance or be who they want to be. So you'll stereotype.
I think it's the culture. I don't think it's necessarily. I think it's a problem culture. I think there's also like genetics involved in it to a degree. Who is the congresswoman, a black one? What's her name? She practiced a lot of niggerism. What's her fucking name? What's her name? The idiot that always... She comes from a rich, affluent area.
Are you black?
Yeah, I am. She comes from a rich... Even if I wasn't, it doesn't matter. Anyway,
it does matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It does matter.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
It's a
Obviously,
word.
you haven't been... have you been affected by racism
what's
before?
What's the fucking Congress... what is it? Jasmine Crockett, bam. She comes from an affluent area. She talks like a fucking retard. She goes out and adheres to all the stereotypes despite the fact that she didn't come from that. Why? Because it's culturally cool to be... rude, obnoxious, loud, talk in a way where you're, destroying the English language and using Ebonics. She doesn't come from that. But why is she doing that? To go ahead and get her constituents to think that she's the same when she doesn't come from that. So we have a culture problem when it comes to the black community. Being a nigga is considered being cool. And I'm here to say it's not cool.
Let me know down below if you agree with Myron Gaines that when a politician is willing to bend to a specific culture, that really does prove how prevalent it really is. Because they're trying to win the votes, right? Like they're trying to win the election. So you're only going to appeal to the masses that you think is going to help you to win. That's the only reason to do it. Otherwise, it wouldn't get you that consequence. You would lose the election. So that absolutely proves the point. Myron Gaines had a lot of good points in this one, including the fact that stereotypes do exist for a reason. And also, the same thing with women. I have never known a woman who would prefer to work for a woman as opposed to a guy. Not one. And I've asked this question before. I have yet to find a woman who would prefer a woman boss telling her what to do versus a guy. Because any woman I've ever asked to, they're like, guys are just easier. Guys are simpler. Like Myron Gaines was pointing out with the island comparison. I know exactly what he was talking about. Like those women were cooked in the first day, and guys, yeah, they're killing it. They got fire, they got food, they got water. They're doing everything. Like guys are quick to the point. No BS. We can get past, whatever emotional crap, whatever that doesn't even exist. But girls just get bogged down in it. And when their leader, if she's a woman, she's doing the same thing. Like that is not, making the women who underneath her really feel confident in her. But a guy who's handling his business, who's a strong leader, it makes those women feel safer and more secure. So they would rather work for a strong guy versus a woman. I've never met a single one. Let me know if you've ever met one otherwise. But yeah, it absolutely goes in line with what's really, a big priority to women. But hit that like button and notification bell if you're enjoying the video. And if you want to help support the channel, check out the link in the description and let's get back in.
It's not cool on what term? Like in the terms of America or whatever?
Joining a gang, speaking like an idiot, not understanding the English language, cutting words off, saying like ax instead of ask, right? Listening to hip hop music, being a whore, shaking ass, twerking. These are all black culture things that are a problem.
All races can do all of those things.
What was that?
All races can do all of those things.
Yeah, but it's black culture that promotes it the most.
How is that true?
So isn't it crazy how like black people get mad at you if you like, talk about hip hop? That's our culture. And then I'm like, all right, well, that's your culture. No, how do you know it's not our culture? This is literally what black people talk about all the time. As a matter of fact, a lot of black activists will get mad if white people rap. They'll say, oh, he ain't one of us. Actually, as a matter of fact, we're going to talk about racism. Blacks are some of the most racist people, if we're going to be honest.
I do agree that there is a big problem with racism in the black culture, especially towards other people of color. I do agree that is a really big problem. But that still doesn't make racism to other people okay.
It's a reality.
I know it is a reality, and that's why people fight it. That's why we try to
I look at it like it's a reality. People aren't going to not be racist. It's your job to prove the stereotypes wrong because the stereotypes are always going to exist. Like, I don't get mad because the reality is people are always going to not going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Like, they're going to assume certain things about you. And that's fine. It is what it is. It's life. Like, we're going to assume Muslims are terrorists. We're going to assume blacks are criminals. We're going to assume Jews, like, run America and they subvert their government. We're going to assume, black women are annoying and loud. Like, white people can't dance and their chicken doesn't fucking get seasoned. Like, we're just going to go ahead and assume these things. It is what it is. That's just the reality. Everyone has negative stereotypes. It's your job to prove the stereotypes wrong.
Oh, yeah, I do agree with you on that point. I think it's good to prove stereotypes wrong, but I also don't think it's good for you to belittle people who fit the stereotypes.
I think it's good to belittle them that fit the stereotype. That's how you get them to change. That's another thing that we don't have. We need to bring back shaming.
I do agree.
Yeah, and bullying.
No, because bullying will lead to suicide.
Shaming is bullying.
Bullying leads to suicide.
I mean, here's the thing. People are soft nowadays.
We're not soft, we're aware.
No, they're soft.
People will talk about us being too woke, but now we just have more information and we're allowed to speak our opinions like I'm doing right now. We're allowed to speak our opinions.
Bullying is one of the best things that can happen, especially to men. It forces you to adapt. It forces you to go to the gym. It forces you to become stronger. It forces you to become not a retard. It forces you to become better. Like, I talk all the time. Like, for example, me, I was bullied as a kid, right? Me and one of my good friends, his name was Jordan Reed, right? He used to play for the 49ers. We grew up together. His brother, Brandon Reed, who ended up, getting a Super Bowl ring, etc., he used to bully us all the time. We used to get beat up. We couldn't beat them in basketball, but what did we do? We went in practice and we went to the basketball court to train to try to get better, and we eventually won a game against them. But we only did that because we had, the fire in our ass to become better. Men need to be challenged. They need to be beat up a little bit. They need to take the L's. This is why, if we're going to be honest, like a lot of these movies aren't doing so well. Like these Marvel movies or these movies where it's the hero's journey and we're putting like women in it. Like the reality is like it's men that have to become the winners. It's not like men have to go through the hero's journey. It's not women, right? That's why Captain Marvel, no one gave a fuck. Like, oh, you get powers from the beginning. This is gay. Nobody cares. So like all these woke movies are losing because it doesn't adhere to reality. The underdog, the guy that wins at the end after getting their asses whooped. It's a masculine journey. Men need to get bullied and deal with adversity to grow stronger.
I think that could be applied to everybody of every gender.
Well, I would say for men even more so. I wish women bullied each other more, but you guys don't. That's why a lot of you guys are fat.
I got bullied by my sisters a lot when I was younger, but they just helped me be like a better person.
Well,
And I don't think saying that's like okay, because a lot of bullying, especially nowadays, now that people are just, they'll just say whatever they want, bullying leads to a lot more rates of suicide. And you know who the most suicide people are? Men. Because men get bullied by other men, and they think the only way they have to do this if they can't change is to kill themselves.
Yeah, it's because we live in a soft world.
And you continue to support
It's because we live in a soft world where we don't tell guys that bullying is a rite of passage. We tell them, no, you should not be bullied. It's okay for you to be a depressed pussy. It's okay for you to be mediocre. It's okay for you to be broke. It's okay for you to be a skinny stick and be a fucking bitch. Like, we tell guys it's okay to be mediocre, but if we told them, look, you getting bullied is a rite of passage. Hazing is good. Getting your fucking stripes is good. Like, this is what we need to tell men instead, so they become stronger and they don't become weak. And here's the thing too that you guys got to understand. It's the women that suffer from this. As these guys become softer and softer, and they don't want to ask you out on dates, or they tell you let's go 50-50 or all this other bullshit, who ends up losing? You guys lose because the men are weaker and don't want to do their jobs. So at the end of the day, weak men lead to hard times.
That's not true. I think you're preaching about what women want, but you're not a woman. And you'll see like, every woman wants this, every woman wants this. First of all, every woman is different. Every person is different.
Women are far more rigid in what they want than men are. Way more.
What do you mean by that?
Women are far pickier than men are, and they want very similar things.
I don't think that's true. That's just from my personal experience. I don't think that's very
Okay, look, see, we want to lie here and beat around the bush. The reality is that women want guys that are over 6 feet tall. They want the guy that's in shape, a guy that's competent, a guy that makes a lot of money. They want these things. Like, women are far more rigid and selective in their mating process than men are. So women will sit there and say, I care about personality and friendship. Yeah, that's assuming everything else is met that they don't want to talk about because they don't want to be looked at as surface level and shallow. But the reality is the things that women are looking for are pretty fucking standard, and they're just not honest about it.
Well, I think everybody has their preferences. Like, what they want in a person is just who most people just want, a good person. And when you're a good person, then there are more opportunities for you than just for
they've done studies on this. The variance in like what women find attractive versus what men find attractive, women are far more narrow.
Women are based on
physical, and all the guys have the same archetype pretty much. Like versus for men, we're way more open with what we're attracted to. Women are not.
Yeah, this girl might be sweet, but she does not know what she's talking about. Two things Myron Gaines absolutely is right on is that boys, because fathers are not in the home, these rites of passages, these moments, these bullying, all these things that happen to them, they don't know how to interpret it. They don't know how to get through it. They don't know how to overcome it because they don't have a man there to explain how to do it. They're trying to listen to a woman, but she doesn't go through the same experiences, trials, and tribulations as a young boy does. So she can't teach him. It has to be a man. And just like Myron Gaines said, if you had someone around to explain to them, hey, this is happening. Okay, this is how we're going to overcome it. This is how we're going to do this, right? And then you explain it. Then that's how that boy builds and overcomes whatever that is that's going on in front of him. Without a guy, he doesn't know how to do it. He's just making up as it goes along, and it ends terribly. And as far as women goes, I don't think this girl knows the fact that Myron Gaines has spoken to thousands and thousands of women. And yes, every poll goes along with the same thing. You see this across the board. Women want that top 10%. They want that top 5. They want the guy who's got it all. This, and this. Like, there's no point in arguing about it. Just accept it. They want the guy who has it all, the knight in shining armor. That's the story they always love. Those are the novels that they read. Like, they're telling you straight to your face exactly what they want. You just have to stop denying it and just accept it. And then, like Myron Gaines explained, this isn't even helping women because you get all these soft soy boys who can't do anything, and they don't even give women the inkling to want to have sex with them in the first place because they're so full of soy. Right? Those aren't even the guys that the women want anyway. So moral of the story is society absolutely needs strong men and needs to stop listening to women in order to figure out how to get them. But thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you thought about what Myron Gaines had to say, completely obliterating this woke feminist in this college debate. Thanks again, like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.